Hi everyone, it's card and a cuppa time today, Friday Facebook Live. My name's Denise McCabe and I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator in Australia on the New South Wales Central Coast. So I'm just going to see if I can find you over on my laptop. It won't be a moment. I'm still managing all this weird and wonderful technology. Okay, it looks like I'm there. I'll probably get the black screen of death in Facebook. Hi Cheryl, but that's okay. We can cope with the black screen of death. I can manage that. Okay, so I think I've got that all working. So I hope everyone's had a nice week. I always love Fridays. Friday. So this is my card and a cuppa, and we're going to play with the Hello Irresistible Suite collection that will be available for customers from the 1st of March. Hi Lynn. So I've made a couple of cards, and I know you can't see them very well when I hold them up because of the glare from my windows, so we might as well not do that and just turn the phone straight down. Well, it's actually not my phone, it's a webcam. I'm trying to get clever. We'll turn down to the craft desk and we can get started playing. So let's do that. Okay, so these are the two cards that I'm going to, yes, you're on. These are the two cards we're going to recreate today. I might put my lamp on and see if that's too bright. No, I think that's a bit bright. The natural light's probably better. Okay, so the Hello Irresistible bundle is really beautiful. It's a stamp set and dies and designer series paper, which is here. And I already need more of it because I've used all of this piece up. So it's a stamp set and dies, the designer series paper, which is just beautiful. It's not specialty. There's no foils or embossed pieces on it, but it's just beautiful. And there's two returning colors in it. There's Pretty Peacock and Lost Lagoon. So it looks very much like Stampin' Up are going to do a color refresh with the new annual catalogue. I'm just moving things out of the way because they're just preventing things to be running smoothly. Okay, so that's the A side of the paper. Hang on. There we go. And then you've got the B side, which is all gorgeous wash paper, some with some dots, some with splatters. Just beautiful. Really love it. And as I said, I've already got to order some more because I've used up all of this one. So that's the paper, and then you've got the frosted dots. Here we go. And the noisy motorbike outside. Oops, I'm trying to get this back in. Don't worry about it. So the frosted dots are loose frosted dots, and I didn't think I'd like these at first because they're not adhesive, but I am liking them. So wonders never cease to amaze me. And I'm for the first time using my putty end on my take your pick tool. So I'm finding that's perfect way to attach them to the cards. So let's get started. Put our little dots there, and I can put my paper there. Okay, so this is the first card I made this morning, and I used the Pretty Flowers embossing folder to go underneath because I thought it went really nicely. So it's quite a simple card, and what I've done with the paper being 6 by 6, I've just cut it down into strips of 5 centimeters wide, because 6 by 6 I think is 15.2 centimeters or something like that. converted into metric. So that's another way of getting more cards out of one piece of 6x6, which I'm all full on trying to do. And then I thought we'd do another card because they're simple, and I'd show you this die, and it's just another piece of the paper out of the paper pack. So let's put this one here, and we'll get a, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this design but with these colors. So I've got a thick basic white cardstock for our card base. I'm just going to give that a nice score. And instead of, actually maybe I should put this one in, but I'm using these colors. That's probably a better idea. I've got my petal pink matting piece, which is 10 centimeters by 14.4 or 14.3. I've got my piece of Daffodil Delight, which is 5.5 centimeters by 14.4, and my piece of paper, which I've done at 5 centimeters and 13.9. I could have done it all the way down, but I'd already cut my piece of paper, so this way we're going to do it this way for this card. So we can probably attach a few things. Has everyone had a good week? I have. I'm very glad it's Friday though. So I'm putting this onto my Daffodil Delight with the border all the way around. There we go. And I can attach it straight onto this, and I'm going to leave a little border at the side. So the wedding is now a month away. It was a month yesterday. So we're just doing all the last minute fine tuning. I've had to, the RSVP date was yesterday, so, but I've had to chase people up. We're still waiting for a few people to get back to us. So that's all very interesting. I hope you've got your cuppa. I've got mine. And I plan on having a sip. So I never thought you'd have to chase people for a wedding. If they've been invited to a wedding. But there you have it. So I'm using my mini cutting box machine, and I'll just grab my plates. Now I've already put adhesive sheet on the back of the gold shimmer paper. So I've already got that. I don't know if you can see it, but see, I haven't gone right to the end. So let's put our plates in and get our die out. Okay, so we're going to get this die out, and I'm going to stand up to do it because I find standing up is a lot easier. So I've gone a bit wider than I need for the shimmer paper, but that's okay. I'll use that up for something else, except when you put that in and it moves. I'm just going to grab some of my, there we go. Not that I have to really hold it down, but it helps me. So I'm just going to wind that through. So there's only a few days now left of celebration. So if anybody is still interested in joining, you can still join up until midnight Tuesday the 28th. So don't be shy. If you want to join, let me know. Okay, I'll pop this away. I'll bring this back in and I'll show you how this gorgeous die works. So I'm just going to, now it hasn't come completely off because I've just made that a fraction too long for it to fall out. There we go. I'll use that for something else. There we go. Now, the other thing about this, even though I've used the adhesive sheet, it's still just as hard to pull the backing off this because the die is quite sort of fragile. I did make my sample card. Here it is. I made... No, you're live. You're live, Margaret. I used just glue to adhere this one down, and that was tricky, but I don't know what's trickier, the adhesive sheet or gluing. So it is a little bit of a tricky die, but it's beautiful on your cards. So I'm just popping these little bits and pieces out. Now I have put this suite as my product-based card class for the month of March, and it's the 18th of March. So I've given 3 options for my class. I've given option 1 is I want it all, and you get the whole collection, stamp sets, dies, DSP and frosted dots, $130.25, and the 5 cards in the card class for free. Option 2 is you get I want a taste. Now I'm just going to try and peel the backing off this, the adhesive backing. This is where it's quite tricky. Maybe. Is that where it goes? So this is why I don't know whether the adhesive sheet is better than the gluing it. I've got a feeling I'm going to have to turn my light on so I can see. There we go. That. Let's make it that one. It's not quite as bright. Yeah, getting the backing off the adhesive sheet is proving quite challenging. It's just getting it started. Oh dear, I can't seem to get it off. It's probably me. It's probably user error. It's not the products, it's the user. We'll give it one more try. Okay, let's see. Okay, that's coming there. Let's see if it's coming on other. And then see, once you pull it, it's hard because you don't want to break it, but you want it all to come off. I'm thinking glue is actually easier. Once you get it started, it's not too bad. Okay, I think I broke some of it here, so I need to go back up and pull it that way. I'm not demonstrating this very well, am I? Okay. Maybe it's this way. There we go. Okay. No, my eyes are definitely not what they used to be, Margaret. And it sucks. Okay, so now it's going to be a little bit fraction longer than your card matting piece that you're putting it onto, but that's okay because you can always trim. So I'm just going to carefully place it. And I don't want to be all wobbly, so we'll do that. That part's easier with the adhesive sheet than having to glue it. It's just getting the adhesive sheet off to start with. Now I'm just going to trim it down because the die is actually a little bit longer than the matting piece for the card front. There we go. Get those out of the way. So that's what the die looks like. Turn my light back off. That's what the die looks like. It's really pretty. It's so pretty, and it's like raindrops running down like string, beads of raindrops. That's what I think it looks like. So I'm going to put that flat down on my card front because we're just keeping it as simple as possible, even though I've used some dies to cut out things. Because my goal for my Facebooks are to keep the cards as simple as I can, so that new people, new crafters can, that wasn't straight. I'm having a day of it, aren't I? Maybe that's why I'm glad it's Friday. New crafters can see that things don't have to be complicated and technical, and you don't have to own everything as much as we like owning everything. Okay. It reminds me of those. Oh my goodness, Anita, you're so right. I'd forgotten about them. And they were all different colours, and I remember them. They were very 70s when I was in my teenage years at the end of the 70s. They were, those curtains, those beaded things were very 70s. Okay, so I'll bring this one back in. So this is just showing you two different pieces of paper as well from the suite. And this is my little box of die cuts. So whenever I want a die cut for a sentiment, I tend to cut a few of them out at a time. Some have even got a stamp on them, because then if I want to use them, you know, I've got them on hand. So I think I'll use that one from the Stylish Shape dies. Now the sentiments from the Irresistible Blooms won't fit on that, but the sentiments from Celebrating You will. So on this card I use Just For You. Happy Birthday's not going to fit. Maybe Lots of Love. Let's do Lots of Love. And I stamped in the Flirty Flamingo. So this one's from Stylish Shape dies. I think I said that. See, my memory's not that good either. Can't remember what I've said. There we go. And Flirty Flamingo is a colour I don't normally go to, but this paper is just so gosh darn gorgeous that I'm using some of my brights colours, which I don't normally use. I've got those curtains in my head now. Okay, I'll get some of I'm down to the edges of my dimensionals, and I thought this morning I must get myself a new sheet out for my live, but did I remember to do that? No. Okay, so we'll bring our sample card in with the pretty peacock coloured paper, and I'm going to put that down here, and then I'm going to get our frosted dots. I'm terrified of opening these. I'm going to throw them everywhere. Okay, so we've got Petal Pink, Daffodil Delight, and Pretty Peacock dots in here. And I just use my fine tip glue. You can use Tombow. That's I think my little sentiment's a little bit crooked. Let me just fix that. I can't do crooked. Yeah, that's better. So I just use my fine tip glue, and I just pop, well, I'll pop one here on the sentiment, one up here. This is making me better with my placing of my bling, because I'm committing. Okay, I'm just going to pick this up with my Take Your Pick tool. I'll put that one there. You just have to hold it down with your fingernail just to ease it off, and give it a little press on this one. So there's 3 sizes in these, and I'll put this on here, and there's a teeny weeny one somewhere. Once again, it's the eyes. Got to try and get the eyes focused. Okay, and I'll pop this one here. except now I can't get it off. There we go. So that's that card already done. So totally, it looks totally different in the two different pieces of paper. And as I said, I've cut the paper at the 5 centimeter mark because you get 3 pieces 5 centimeters wide out of a 6x6 piece of DSP. So that's that card. How pretty. So pretty. Okay, so I'll put this one there. Now I'm going to bring in this one. So I'll put this die away. And I'm going to bring in this card base. So what I've done, because I don't have any Lost Lagoon paper cardstock or ink yet, because that was one I donated up to Lismore last year, I'm using Soft Succulent, and I thought this one's a nice piece. I've cut this one all the way down. I've done it 14.4 or 14.3. But first I'm going to emboss this with the seashells embossing folder, because this just to me looks like it's underwater, and it's, you know, the weeds and everything under at the bottom of the ocean. So this time I will need my big cut emboss machine, and this embossing folder I think just goes perfectly with that piece of paper. Okay, so I'll just get my big cut emboss machine. And we just need plate number 1 and plate number 4. So pop that down. Always put your embossing folder seam first onto your platforms. There we go. We'll get rid of the big boss. Okay, so we'll bring our bits back in. So that's the seashells embossing folder. Isn't it pretty? It's such a pretty embossing folder. So we'll attach that down first. And pop that onto our card base. So I'm using the thick basic white because it just is a easy card base to use, and it means you don't have to do an insert. I sometimes use coordinating colours as the card base, but today, no. Okay, so we'll get this, and see this paper, the back of this paper has got the beading down it. So that's really nice. Matches this die. It's really nice. Okay. So I shall put that onto my pretty peacock piece of cardstock. It's a miracle I kept that. I kept pretty peacock cards, whatever leftover cardstock I had, and I kept the ink pad. Now I have got this a little bit longer, so I'm just going to trim it slightly. Okay, so I could do that in the center, or I could do it over to one side. I think I'll put it in the center because we're keeping to the same theme. Or will I do it over to one side? Decisions. I think you know what's behind it. Hi Joan, how are you? Thanks for jumping on. So what do you guys think? Do you think I should keep it over to one side or in the center, like my sample card? I'll see what the first comment is. No thoughts? Come on, somebody must have a thought. Do you want this in the centre or over to one side? I'm thinking the centre. I really do. And we know the shells are behind. Let's do it the same. That's what I think. Let's do it the same. Okay, I just noticed that I don't have the black screen of death on my laptop, which is good. Okay. So let's put it in the center like the sample card. And I'm just sort of eyeballing it, hoping I'm getting it centered. Oops. Doesn't help when I do that. Okay. And that looks pretty good. And we need the sentiment and we need the frosted dots. So let's go for a lovely sentiment. Let's have a look at what dies I've got pre-cut in my little die box. Ooh, I've just had a little bit of an idea. Had a little bit of an idea. I could use that die, and I think that's from the Waves of Inspiration, and I could put some of this mesh ribbon coming out of it, like as if it's fishing net at the bottom of the ocean. Let's do that. That's a bit fun. Okay, so the happy birthday will fit on that die. So let's go with that. And we'll get my pretty peacock ink in. Okay. Just make sure it stamps nicely. Yes. Okay. That's pretty good. I'm happy with that. Okay, we'll put that to one side. Now we can put that here, and then with this mesh ribbon. This ribbon's in the annual catalogue and it's called Metallic Mesh Ribbon. Funny about that. Okay, let's see. I've got some cut in half. I did for another card a while back, so I think I'll cut that piece off and we'll use the full width of the metallic mesh, because we can have a little play with that. So then it does really look like we're under the sea, and I can do that. Okay. Yeah, the folder's beautiful, Cheryl, isn't it? I love that folder. I love the Friends Are Like Seashells stamp set too. Okay, now I'm going to put a little bit of double-sided tape on the back to keep that in place. That will just keep that stuck down for me and not moving. And I'll put this up on dimensionals. And you know what I might else do? I might just cut this a little bit and make it a little bit layery, you know? Is that a word? It's probably not. It's a word now, because I made it up. I might have to trim it down a fraction on the edges. Okay, So we're working with our edge pieces of dimensionals now, because Denise forgot to get her new sheet out. Here we go. So I am playing with my new streaming software, and I'm trying to work out how to stream to YouTube and Facebook at the same time. So that's my next challenge, but I'm getting there slowly and surely. Okay, just make sure that's centered. Now, I don't think I've got this completely centered, but that's okay. It's creative license, isn't it? Okay, so that's that. Now I will put my light back on so I can see what I'm doing with these dots. Okay. So we shall side. Oh, sorry. There was a bit of a delay, I think. Oh no, Joan said center, so I got that right. Yay. Yeah, I think there's a bit of a delay with the comments, unfortunately. Okay, let's see what I can do. I'll get my fine tip glue pen out again. And we've got the peacock ones. Let's put a glue dot, a spot of glue there, a spot of glue here, and maybe a spot of glue up here. Now I've just got to remember where I put the glue spots. And we'll get I showed you the big one down here. There we go. The small one, like bubbles. The small one can go there. The medium one can go there. And the teeny tiny one can go up the top. So, how about that? So that is that card done. Let me see, comments. Okay, so there are 2 cards for today. I normally don't do 2, but I did. So that's with the soft succulent and the pretty peacock. And then this one is with the petal pink and daffodil delight. Similar cards, but yeah, it's such beautiful paper, and the whole suite collection's gorgeous. So let me show you my class. So it's on the 18th of March, and as I said, there's 3 thanks for the hearts. There's 3 options. You can buy the whole suite collection for $130.25, I think it is, and get the card class for free. You can buy just a taste and you get the designer series paper and the frosted dots, that's $50, which includes your product, or you can just do the card class. So let's move today's cards out of the way, and I will just put these ones down. So that's another way of using one piece of 6x6 designer series paper. And I've also done these 2 cards so people can play with the pretty dies. So that's on the 18th of March, that class. So for anybody who's watching or watching the replay that would like to come, let me know before the 9th of March so I can order your products if you want the product option. And yeah, I am limited to 5 in the class. So these are our cards today. These are the ones we made. So I hope you like those, and I hope you like the suite, and have a lovely weekend, everybody. Let me see what I'm doing on the weekend. I can't even think. I'm catching up with a friend for coffee in the morning. Come back to me. So that'll be nice, and then I'm going to watch Linda's creative afternoon, and we're going out for dinner tomorrow night and to see a movie. So that'll be nice. So I hope everyone has a nice weekend, and I will be back on Monday with my recorded Make It Monday. So I shall see you then. Have a great weekend, everybody, and thank you for watching. Bye for now.